been a long time since I did a YouTube video. As you can tell, I'm fairly lean. I was getting ready for a competition in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I had to pull out, unfortunately. So I had been cutting since, I want to say, I got down to a place where I felt like was good to start in April. And I started at about 173. Like I said, I was getting ready for my show, so I leaned down from April all the way until right now. We are about a week from Thanksgiving, so it's November, and this show was the week after Thanksgiving. Well, I found out about 2-3 weeks ago that I just couldn't afford it. Long time. So what I'm trying to do now is, so I started roughly 172. I thought that was a good spot. Started to lean down, got down to under 140. Averaging weight was probably about 137. And last time I got on stage, I was about last time I got on stage, technically I was 140 after carb up. I leaned down to about 135-ish. Time before that was probably my leanest. I believe my lowest weight was 132. And I want to say my average might have been a little higher, but during peak week I dropped under 135, got to about 132. Maybe carved up about 3 or 4 pounds, got on stage. So I was fairly lean. But so I assumed, since I took roughly a 2.5-year off season, maybe I put on a little bit of muscle and wouldn't have to lean down as much. However, I was going for the shreds, going for the pro card, so I wanted to bring my absolute best. So, like they always say, contest prep 101. Most people who start dieting tend to have more body fat to lose than they thought. So I'm thinking, okay, I had a decent off season. I ended my off season around 182. I hit a maintenance, did a mini cut, hit a maintenance for both maintenance phases were about 2 to 3 weeks. And then from my maintenance, I started to kind of get contest ready, not really prep at 172. When I got down to the 150s, which was roughly maybe July, I think. So from April, roughly lost about 20 pounds. Down to July, I'm around 150, I think around 152. I was like, okay, this is probably would be a good spot to start. In my mind, I was roughly 20 pounds above stage weight. It still had roughly 4 months to get that off. So that's 16 weeks. Now, mind you, that's a little off. I had to, in my mind, probably had to push a little bit. But at the same time, I'm shooting for a low body fat percentage that I'm thinking I won't even need to get near. So, here we are where we're at into the month of November. I'm fairly lean. I actually had a chance to do a couple mock peak weeks before I had to pull out the show, which was pretty cool because I never got lean enough early enough to do it. However, coming into November, I did feel like, hey, you could be leaner. Even though I'm 137 pounds, I'm like, well, technically I'm about 2 to 3, 4 pounds, 2 to 3, 4 pounds, about 4, 5-ish weeks out from my show. I'm thinking, hey, you got time. Like, this is good. I can get these last little few pounds and be all right. And so, I do compete in men's physique and classic, ultimately trying to get to bodybuilding. make some improvements, but men's physique and classic is all right. So what I was wanted to do was get bodybuilder lean. I wanted glutes in, I wanted hamstrings in, which is something in men's physique typically you don't. Well, ain't no typically about it. You just never show. So those weren't in at all at 137. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I got 5-10 pounds to lose. That's putting me in the 120s. Man, I haven't been that low since maybe, I don't know, 6th grade, elementary school, you know? But you want to be pro, you want to win, you want to be a champion. You got to think like one, you got to play like one. It's time to focus. I ain't making no excuses. So, realized I couldn't do the show, hit a maintenance phase. That's where I'm at now. Not necessarily trying to hold 137, because I do feel like it's fairly lean. My energy availability is fairly low. However, my workouts and all those things are still doing good. I'm just a little bit more food focused than I want to be, and a little bit more fatigued than I want to be. Now, that could just be low body fat, which I'm sure, not necessarily a caloric thing, because I did increase my calories to where my maintenance is, and for the most part I feel fine. My weight is definitely fluctuating. I'm filling out, which is expected. So it's kind of like I'm in a maintenance phase / diet break. And for how long, I don't know. I know I roughly want to do it for a couple of weeks, stay at this phase, and then I may try to reverse slowly, adding in a couple of calories here and there, maybe 50 to 100 a week. Not trying to get too far out of shooting range, especially considering now I got a good gauge that I'm roughly 10-ish pounds, give or take 3 pounds either way over my stage weight. So I'm just trying to maintain, maintenance as far as calories. I only do one technically one cardio session a week, and that's HIIT. I just do about 10 minutes of HIIT, Tabata style, so that's 2 rounds. I do 4 intervals and 4 rounds. I'll take a minute rest in between, some light, cycle work on the resistance bike, and then I do another 4 minutes. But I do track my steps. I got a very active job, so I just keep up my daily average steps that I technically do any other day on my rest days. So I'm not really trying to, breathe hard and do cardio every day. That's what the HIIT is for my heart health. But I just keep it moving, staying active. So when I'm ready to jump back into it, drop my calories, I know where maintenance is, take off. Hopefully, next video, got some good news. We will be the champs. Stay focused. Keep grinding.